Hello and welcome to Media Unlocked. My name's Kevin Angel and today we will be talking about the Edelkrone Wing Slider 15. Now there are a few different iterations of the Edelkrone Wing. There's the 7, which I think is discontinued. There's the 15, there's the 16, and then there's the 48, and those stand for the amount of weight that they can carry. So this one can hold 15 pounds, which is completely fine. I run the Canon 6D Mark II with a battery grip and then a Rode Video Mic Pro, so this is completely sufficient. Basically for any DSLR that you have, it's gonna work perfectly fine. Now on the bottom as my tripod, I use the Manfrotto 190X Pro 3, which only comes in at about $170, so it's not the most expensive of tripods that you need in order to make this work, although it is fairly heavy. It stays balanced very well. It's very compact. It has a 3/8 inch mount on the top, and then there's the 3/8 inch mount on the bottom, so you can screw it into practically any monopod or tripod. It's very versatile. It's the size of probably your biggest lens. It fits in my camera bag, which I never thought a few years ago that I would have a slider in my backpack as I'm walking around, so that's a huge plus. It has a great solid aluminum build to it, which does give it its hefty weight, but you know, the weight is not a big deal for me. I'd rather have a compact, smooth motion option in my bag than worry about having just a few extra pounds that I'm carrying. So let's go on ahead and get into some of the uses that I have for this Edelkrone. The most common use, which is using it as a slider for a parallax effect. Now you might be wondering, what is the parallax effect? And I'll break it down as easy as I can with a video example. So we were shooting at Spindletop Hall, and I looked up and seen that the architecture of the roof was absolutely so beautiful, just so ornate, and there were a couple layers to it. So my first instinct was to get a slider shot pushing forward and showing the difference in distance between the two ornate items in my frame. This is just such a better way in order to showcase the ceiling in this instance, because when you move your camera and don't just pan the frame or tilt the frame, you are adding a parallax effect, which is making the items in the frame that are different lengths away from the camera move at different rates. Because if you have an item that is a foot in front of your lens and an item that is 20 feet in front of your lens, the item that is 1 foot in front of your lens is gonna move a lot faster to the viewer than the one that is 20 feet, which gives this parallax feel, which is just so fun to watch and just so engaging. And that is why I use a slider. I'll use it for sliding from in front of a wall or in front of a door and showcasing or revealing a room. That is a very fun way to do things. Or using the autofocus on my 24-105, I will put an item in frame and I will slowly push into it, which just adds some emphasis to whatever you're shooting. Now, one of the uses for this Edelkrone, which is completely invaluable to me and has earned its way into my bag for probably ever, is for shooting the ceremony of a wedding. In the ceremony of a wedding, one of the main parts you're shooting is the processional, which is when everybody's walking down the aisle. And one thing I've tried in the past is putting a tripod in the very back, looking down the aisle, or I've tried putting a monopod with its legs down the aisle and trying to hide it. Neither of these work very well. When you put the tripod up and you try and look down the audience, everybody stands up and blocks your shot. So that makes you want to get in the aisle. And if you have a monopod, well, there's a lot of people walking down the aisle, so you have the chance of the monopod getting knocked over and you breaking your camera, which is a huge loss of investment. So what I've found that really works is taking the Edelkrone, unlocking it, using the very fancy locking mechanism it has for carrying, and I extend it as far as it can go. My tripod will be mounted right here, and the tripod head that I have, the fluid head, will be mounted on this. So I'm able to take the tripod and hide it behind the very back row of the ceremony. Now, you might not think of this as a big deal, but when I'm shooting down the aisle, I don't want to have a tripod sitting in the middle of the aisle, which is sometimes only a few feet wide. With doing this, the only thing that's visible is just the camera body and lens. It really makes a terrific method for hiding the lens and then giving you the option, once you have made your rotation after the processional, to go and simply zoom in with your zoom lens and get that tight shot of the bride and groom that is so needed for any wedding film. So that's just one of the fun uses that I haven't seen used too often and I think is just so invaluable. All in all, I give this a 10 out of 10. I think it is just a great build quality. The size is so compact, it's so smooth. The motion it gives is great, and it adds a whole different shot to my arsenal that I didn't have before, and I didn't think I would have before, just by being able to extend it and disguise my tripod so that I'm not super obstructive and getting in every shot. So I'd love to know your comments and know what you have to say about this Edelkrone. I just simply have had so much fun using it, and I hope you have fun watching some of the footage that I've got. If you have any comments, leave them down below. Thank you for watching. I'm Kevin Angel. This is Media Unlocked, and I'll see you next time.
You guys have made it this far. If you want to check out our newest video, it will be right here. If you want to check out the product, it will be down here. If you do happen to click on it and purchase it, it does give us a little bit of commission, and that helps me a lot keep making these videos. And of course, guys, right down below, go on and leave a comment, hit that subscribe button, follow along. We'll catch you next time.